Yo, 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 it's the guys. You got the guy, Dre, and I got my homie, the guy, Sean. What's happening, Sean?
What it do, my dude? How's it going
Hey,
out there?
everything is everything. No complaints at all, man.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
it's a very beautiful day. It's the last Monday. We kicking off the last week of the year. And
Yeah,
so we got the last hip hop corner of 2020. I would say, in my opinion, 2020 has been a blessing to us.
indeed.
So how you feeling going into 2021, homie?
Man, you know, it's 2020 was a doozy, man. I mean, everything from the beginning of 2020. Hoping we can end on a positive note. Hope we can end everything on a positive note, man, and just ride into 2020 with some good positive energy, man. Some good momentum going into 2021. I swear, we need it. We need it. So that's
Yeah,
how I feel about it, homie.
most definitely. Hey, what's up, Becca? How you doing? Welcome back as always. Bruh, I man, 2020 was pretty good to me. I had some trials and tribulations. Namely, everyone I've talked about it a couple times on this show and the guys pod. My mom, but today was, I'm rocking the pink for a reason. Today was her last chemotherapy session, so we on the phase two. So big ups to my mom.
Indeed.
As we say, keep pounding, man. Keep being strong, man. We love you. Um, so what's before we jump into, because what if the people don't know what we're doing today is going to do an album review. I mean, not an album review, but a year review. So we're going to talk all things hip hop in the year 2020. But before we get to 2020, I want to jump on ahead to 2021. What you looking at for 2021? What you think is going to be big in hip hop?
Man, it's all, you know what? It depends on how things go with COVID. COVID determines a lot of things right now. If everything gets better with COVID, meaning we can kind of get out there and move around a little bit better, I think you're going to see a lot of concerts. I think you're going to see a lot of artists trying to recoup, trying to get back out there to the fans. And I think you're going to see a slew of concerts. Right before COVID hit, if you recall, Dre, there were like a lot of concerts that was popping off for some of our best artists, some of our greatest artists out there, having just different concerts, different venues, small and large venues. So I can see that happening again if everything slowed down with COVID. That's a big if though. If
Yeah,
not,
most definitely.
I can see the quarantine thing to continue to go forward. To be honest.
I think there's going to be a shift in 2021. Period with concerts. Everyone knows me. I'm a huge concert goer. I think the pandemic has brought them to a new revelation as far as what they can and can't do, and as far as easier ways to make money. And so I think the drive-in concert things that is starting to pop up. I know there's a couple that's been in Phoenix, and a couple been in Atlanta. I think Philly
Yep.
even had one. I think those are something that is gonna, spark people's interest as to in order to do something different in
Yep.
order to captivate the audience. So concerts is definitely the number one thing I'm looking forward to in 2021 when we talk about hip hop music. Um, Another thing that I'm definitely looking forward to is I'm looking forward to the continuance of verses, and I'm looking for verses to step into a new. I'm not gonna say arena because I like the
Yeah.
authenticity of what they do, but I am
Hmm.
looking for them to really step up their game and to step up their matchup. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yep. I think versus has an opportunity to take the next step, if you will, in 2021. But at the same time, I can also see, I hope this doesn't happen, but I can also see versus taking a step backwards. You know what I mean? Because I think that when you start getting into certain artists and you start kind of throwing some things out there, it's going to become a point where it's going to be a situation of saturation of artists. You know what I mean? Like, who do you pair up now? Who do you go to now? I can see that kind of taking its course, to be quite honest. You and I kind
What?
of experienced that when we first started out doing our battle thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. We noticed that when we was doing our thing, and like we always tell people, this is from a fan's perspective. So we was doing our battles from a fan perspective. It all, of course, started with the Outcast and Goody Mob. Just from
Mob
us
Deep.
talking shit. I mean, yeah, Outcast and Mob Deep, just from us talking shit about my love for Outcast and your love for Mob Deep. But the one that really solidify and really pop for us, and which has actually got us going into this direction, is the one where we switched up because we had always did Southern and East Coast. I always had the South, but this time I took East Coast. I had Jada, and you had J. Cole. What do you
Mm-hmm.
what is there anything that stood out to you about that battle or any other battle, or that makes you feel like maybe verses could look and go into another direction? When I say another direction, just to keep the energy, hey, you could bring on, I'm not going to say an expert fan because that's probably not the right term, but you
Right.
bring on an expert fan, and I represent this live artist right here in the flesh. Me and J. Cole, we rock out. I got you, Cole. Just trust my judgment. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think I don't want to give too much away because you'll know who's watching, who's listening, and they take that shit and run with it, and we looking crazy out here, right?
I mean, but it already happened to us once, and we survived.
Facts.
Shout out to Torre Shade 45. Yeah, we know you stealing, but it's okay.
Chill.
Okay, my bad.
Yo, but, to your point, I do think that one of the things that when you and I was doing it, we looked at it from perspective of we first started battling each other because we wanted to beat each other. Then we started looking at it from a perspective of how can we rock out together? Like how can we have a legit session where we're rocking out with the best music that we possibly can find and how they can blend. I think our last 2 to 3 battles were really more of a melody type battle because we fed off of one another. Like I started playing things that I thought that you would play, and you started playing things that you thought that I would play. And even going back to when we did a Timberland and a Pharrell battle, if you recall, that one was the one we kind of did under the radar, and we didn't know it was being taped the entire time. You know what I'm saying? But we actually did that one. To me, that was one of the dopest ones, in my opinion. I thought that was the dopest one because we kept trying to figure out where can we find it because we thought that we lost it, and then it popped up out of the blue one day. Danny, shout out to Danny, was watching Zingo TV. It was like, yo, who are these guys on the TV? You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was the one to me that stood out the most in our battles that we had. And we had some corny battles out there. We had this other corny guy that later tried to sell us some cable, but he wanted to battle. We tossed him up, and he could. You know what's crazy because he could have been one of the guys. You know what I mean? But he ran out of steam by the second battle, and that was that. We got him out of there.
You mean the second song of the first battle?
A second song when he played what did he play? It was something crazy. He played like Doodoo Brown or something like that in his Miami mix. And I called it. Remember, I was like, yo, don't play Doodoo Brown. And this thing, I don't want to I was like, yo, he did it for real. So yeah, we got him up out of here though.
Man,
so,
I think because we had people talking shit like, oh, I wouldn't have did that, I would have represented better. But no one wanted to take that challenge because even if you recall, he sent me a message and he was like, yo, fam, there's too many songs. I don't know what to do. And like, nah, bro, if you're gonna talk shit about us two, you better be able to back that shit up. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely would like to see that. What I also think could happen from Versus is I think there is a market for a concert series when it comes to Versus.
You would not talk about that, Drake.
Yeah.
Like you were not doing that. You know what I mean? Like having a hosting a party where we are doing back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually, Becca, I actually have that same game, man. I'm all things music, so Aux Wars is definitely a great game in my opinion. But you got to be drunk and you got to have some people who know music because they got to be quick on their feet. So yeah, definitely. But I definitely think that that's something that Versus should be looking into is a concert series. I still think hands down the best Versus is the original Versus, only because it was something that to the public was very much impromptu. So I definitely say that Swizzy versus Just Blaze was the best Versus of all time. It was the starting point, and it was a great night for hip hop. Still pissed at Swizzy because we still don't have that track with Nas, Jay, X, Jada.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite Versus?
Honestly, man, from a fan perspective, I thought that the DJ Premier and RZA was my favorite, my personal favorite, because I'm such a RZA fan. I've always thought that RZA was like, to me, RZA is in my top 5 of all time producers, top 3 honestly, and really top 2. You know, if I want to be real about it, I've always thought that RZA catalog was like tremendous, and I always felt he didn't get the credit he deserved, because you got to keep in mind RZA created the that whole Wu-Tang first wave. That was him. That was all him. And they have him in a battle, in a versus battle against DJ Premier, who really orchestrated the sound of New York in the early 90s, mid 90s. I thought that was dope. Just for me, loving those two new type of producers and just that sound that they had, and working with some of the best, lyricists you can find. I just loved it, man. And for them to actually tell stories in between and then give us some bonus cuts on the back end of it, I just thought it was dope. That was my favorite one. That was my favorite one.
So what was so a lot of people said that same thing, Rebecca. Jonte or Neo. I didn't even watch it. I don't even know why I didn't watch it. I don't even think I knew it was happening or something, whatever.
It was early. It was in the beginning, man. That one flew under the radar because I think a lot of people don't know Jonte like that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. The casual fan would not know Jonte, but he actually smoked Neo. Like, and Neo is a beast. Neo pen is ridiculous. Producing is ridiculous. But Jonte threw some stuff out the vault that no one knew he did. And I think that caught a lot of people off guard. They didn't see that happen. They didn't see that happening.
I might have to check that one out. I'm gonna agree. I like the producers better than the artists, just because there's a wide range of things that they could do with it. Only one I didn't like, Scott Storch. Get the fuck out of here. Like, get Scott Storch the fuck out of here. Yeah. He's lame for what he was doing. Manny still won. You know what I'm saying? Cash Money all day. Yeah. That's my shit. So
I don't think Manny got the credit he deserved in that battle. Because Scott Storch was leaning heavy on, co-producing.
Co-produce, yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't right. Manny had at first I was like, Manny got to chill out being salty. But when I thought about it some more, I'm like, he had every right to feel the way he felt. Like, dude, I created all of this music originally. You're leaning on a production team to battle me. You know what I'm saying? So the one that disappointed me the most was the 112 and Jagged Edge.
I don't know why. Listen, man. Jagged Edge is comprised of 2 sets of crackheads, man. I don't care what nobody say, man. Like
the reason why I say that the Jagged Edge and 112 disappointed me, because my wisdom now, we always had that argument about Jagged Edge and 112. I've always told her 112 was way better than Jagged Edge. Every member in 112 could sing. I mean, I went to see them in concert, and everyone could carry their own. And I thought that Jagged Edge was not prepared. They were just horrible. And 112 just mopped them up. But it could have been better. You know what I mean? So that was the one that really, really disturbed me, because I'm like, man, this could have been really good. This really could have been good. But I think that, even 112 was telling Jagged Edge, like, yo, you guys are not even prepared. You know what I mean? Your sound is messed up. It was just bad, man. That was better.
I think at the beginning there was a lot of issues with sound. But I also think like that did cause some bad battles. Like, I didn't even watch when they redid the Teddy Riley and Babyface. I didn't even watch it because I was just like, I tried the other night and y'all kept fucking up, so I ain't got time tonight. You know what I'm saying? So Nelly and Luda was a wash.
It was a wash. It was a wash. It was a wash. And that's why I say, again, I love verses. I love the fact that, we always, these are like cooler talks, right? You talk about 112 versus Jagged Edge, who's better, Nelly versus Luda, who's better, yada, yada, yada. But when you finally get them, you start realizing how different they are in catalog. Like, you and I was the one who kept saying, like, Luda is going to mop up Nelly. And we had our brothers like, nah, Nelly going to hang. Like, no, Nelly probably won 2 rounds. And that was that, if you want to give him that. So I do think that you got to be careful if you are if you are Swizz and Timbo, and these guys are smart, they did their thing, did their research. I think you got to be careful how you project into 2021 with verses, because even if you go back and listen to the Too Short battle against against
40.
your boy E40. That one didn't get a lot of steam. It was good for the Bay, but it didn't get a lot of steam worldwide. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think they was looking for some ATL love on that one. Because if you
Yeah,
look at it, like
yeah,
Gucci and Jeezy probably initially wasn't going to get that much love, but they got so much love. One, because they had fans like me who just absolutely wanted to see it, but then you had the casual fan who came there looking for the drama and shit. So that is another reason they was able to drive up their views. Um, what I do love about Versus, and we can go ahead and get ready to move on, but what I do love about Versus is the fact that artists are, you know what I'm saying, competitive again. You
right,
know,
right, right,
I I love the competitive sport of MCing, so
right.
I love the fact that they getting competitive and they like, yo, I want to get in my bag. Like I love to hear the fact that Rick Ross is out here talking shit, saying, you know what? I already did one, but I can do 2 or 3 more. What's happening?
Yeah,
And he's not, you know what I'm saying? He's not doing it against no cookie cutters. He's talking, hey, yo, I want you. What's happening, Jeezy? Oh, I
right,
want you. What's happening, T.I.? Even though he's already done one. So,
right.
you know,
And he
I
can
love
do
the
another one.
competitive spirit. Yeah, he definitely
Absolutely,
can.
absolutely, absolutely. So let's get into it, man. Let's do it. Our first year in review, man. What you want to start
Um,
with? What you want to start with?
um, yeah, so let's go with the albums that drop. Well, no, let's go with artists.
Okay.
Uh, who's the artist of the year in hip hop? And it can't be him, guy. It can't be him.
All right,
Like
I'm
at
not
some point, you got to get rid of your fandom.
because he's something different. I won't go there. I won't go there. I won't go there. Man, artist of the year. Who do you give it to? Like honestly, because I think honestly the wealth has been spread throughout the year. So who do you give the artist of the year to?
Who the hell is Tori? Because I know she ain't
Tory.
talking about Tory Lanez.
I hope you ain't saying Tory Lanez.
Um, I split artist of the year up, and here's why.
Okay.
I think that Lil Baby definitely had a year.
You
Even
got to
though
get
it's nothing that I'm not gonna listen to, Lil Baby definitely had a year.
yeah.
But then on the shit that I'm going to listen to, I'm gonna give it a 3-way split between Griselda. I think all 3 of those guys, they use this time to really come in their own, and they really use this time to like punch their card. You know what I'm saying? They punched in that hip hop card this week. I mean this year, and they
Yeah.
showed who they are. When you started off, you came out, you had the West Side Gunner, his album came out, and
Yep.
then a couple months down the line, you went and you had Conway album came out, and then to top it all off, Benny the Butcher. And I think Benny actually shined over all of them. I did
Yeah.
think that West Side Gunner was probably the better rapper, and Conway was the more polished rapper. But for whatever reason, Benny he just got ridiculous.
He did. He did, man. I think if I had to group them, I would say yes, they definitely will get my nod for artist of the year. You can't overlook Lil Baby. I think Lil Baby really, I mean, I think he was at #1 on the charts for like how many weeks? Like 60 something weeks or something crazy like that. Like
Yeah,
he controlled the charts. Let's be clear. And you gotta think about Roddy Rich. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
gotta think about,
I can see that.
and I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna give you someone that I don't think got enough respect and credit throughout this year. And I mean, there was some artists out there, man, that was really turning it up, throughout the year. Of course, we know Benny. We know Benny did his thing. I think that Griselda was already building up steam in 2019. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
most
Like,
definitely.
and because you and I were talking about this since last year about Griselda. But then in 2020, they just hit it hard. And they purposely hit it with that Griselda movement. But you gotta give Roddy Ricch some love, man. And again, I
Yeah,
know we older guys, so that's not some of our wave, but you gotta respect what the homie did, man.
yeah. Tasia took mine also. I would give Rod Wave a whole lot of love also.
Okay,
I kind of put him and Rich in the same lane, but
okay,
I definitely give them the love. And
okay.
Buffalo receivers are just dropping all types of touchdowns. That's the third
Man,
touchdown they
stay
done dropped.
focused, man. Don't worry about
Yeah,
that.
but so I definitely like that. I think overrated of the year, I'm gonna
Hold
go
on,
with
I do want to give one more. Stove Cook Gods, man. He had a joint called Reasonable Drought.
Oh, I never heard it.
I think you need to check that one out, bro. Like, slept on. I think, honestly, if I didn't have to pick a popular someone that everyone knows, I would go with Stove Cook Gods, man. I'm not going to front. Reasonable
All right, well,
Drought.
for someone unknown, I would go with I'm gonna fuck up his name, even though he says his name about 45 times in each album. I'm gonna go with Toby Nwage or whatever his name is, out of H Town.
Yeah.
He got popular off that one song, "Catch These Hands" or "Try God, Don't Try Me," because I throw hands or whatever.
Right.
But man, let me tell you, he's his album, especially the one that just came out like a couple weeks ago. I've had that shit on repeat, and he's super dope. And also, what's super dope, like his album covers always feature his wife and his kids. He has his wife on like I would probably venture to say 40% of the songs that's on his album. He does a lot of producing on his album. He brings in real authentic H-Town artists. I'm not talking Travis Scott, but I'm talking like Killer Calion. I'm talking, Lil Kiki the Don, you know what I'm saying, Bun B. Like he has these type of artists that is on his album, but then it doesn't feel like a H-Town album. You know what I mean? Like it's not that normal laid back, slow, what up, you know what I'm saying? I'm thrilled or whatever. So he's just somebody that I think is dope. And I think 2021 is going to be real great to him. Meg, we're going to get into overrated next. That's why I was going. I'm going to disagree with Tasia on that one because I think Meg has kind of dumbed herself down as far as rapping just so she can continue to have commercial success.
Indeed. I agree.
That's my personal opinion. I've actually heard her spit a couple of times. So I know she has the potential.
She has a lane right now that I think that her managers are giving her.
Right.
And I think for the long run, it's not going to help her because her last album didn't really do well and didn't really get a lot of love. That's the one that came out a couple of months ago. I think she lost a little bit of steam as well. So we'll see if she can bounce back though.
Yeah, I would say the same thing with DaBaby. I think DaBaby is probably one of the heavy spitters in this new generation, but he was in a lane where he was making money. So if you're making money, what you gonna do? I'm gonna try to continue to make money.
Yeah, keep going.
Whatever.
Absolutely.
But my overrated, I got to go with Jay Electronica, and the reason why I'm calling him overrated is one, that's not your album. He came out with an album, the long-awaited debut album, like he's been debuting since probably about 2007.
Yes, and it sounds that.
Right.
Yeah.
It was no growth in the album from what I've heard over a couple other things. It was too much Jay-Z on that album. I would say half of the songs were featuring Jay-Z.
Yep.
But then also he got the credit to, I'm not a guy that's big on awards, especially when it's coming from, no offense to anybody watching, but when it's coming from the Caucasian media, I tend to not give two fucks. But to give Jay Electronica a Grammy nod over someone like Benny the Butcher or,
crazy.
I'm just not understanding that. So he's definitely my overrated artist for 2020.
He was mine too, man. I'll be honest. He was mine only because of the anticipation of his album. We was waiting on the Jay Electronica album for about 10 plus years. I mean, let's be clear, because we knew what he was going to spit. We knew he was going to drop some fire, right? But you go back and listen to a written testimony, and I tried to listen to it today just to freshen up a little bit, and I couldn't listen to it. It doesn't have replay value to me. It sounds like it's an album that should have came out back in 2005, 2007. And I'll be honest with you, to be completely honest, that album could have came out like in 2000, honestly. Because if you listen to that album, if you know Wu-Tang really well, and you go back and listen to a Killer Priest album, that album resembles a lot of Killer Priest album, right? Because of the content. And don't get me wrong, Jay Electronica can spit. Like, he's one of the best out there. But when you listen to that album, it doesn't sound like a clean 2020 album. It's not a current album, in my opinion. He had some cuts on there that were released on mixtapes back in 2007, 2008. You know what I'm saying? So, and he had some lyrics. He could have switched that up. You don't drop an album, your debut album, and you got Jay on 95% of the album. You just don't. To me, you don't do that. I mean, you are highly anticipated. when people are waiting for you to come out and you come out with that, and then you get nodded for a Grammy, you got to question the Grammys at this point, because what are y'all listening to? Like, really, what are y'all listening to? So that was my disappointing album, because I really wanted to hear Jay Electronica, man, but not in that version. I heard that version years ago. I wanted to hear more.
I think everyone has always questioned the Grammys, but now we questioning them more. And then
Yeah.
now I think what it's going to do, the trickle effect is we're going to question Jay. Um,
Yeah.
because the outlook is going to be, all right, Jay, you making these moves. Now all of a sudden, motherfuckers getting nominated for Grammys and shit like that.
Right. Because your name is
But
attached to it.
yeah. And
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
I don't know, you know, I've always questioned the Grammys and I've always been like, fuck the Grammys, who gives a fuck? Anytime Eminem has more Grammys than Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, Scarface, and Tupac combined, we
It's
have
crazy.
an issue.
It tells
So,
you exactly what the Grammy is for, who it's for. It's definitely not
right,
for.
right.
Um,
So
I got some other disappointed albums, man. And I don't, again, these are the ones that kind of hurt me the most, because these are artists that I really love. That Jadakiss album, man, came out earlier this year.
we didn't have to bring that up.
I know, but you know how I feel about Jada, man. But that album, it gets no replay for me, man.
Yeah, the Locks album either.
Even the Locks album. Dre,
Yeah.
I listened to the album once, and I was like, yo, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, that wasn't it.
That's not a Locks album to me. That hurt me. That was very disappointing. Very disappointing.
So are we going to talk about King's Disease being a disappointment?
Never.
Or are we just going to leave that there? All right, we're going to leave it there.
Grammy
Okay.
nominated King's Disease is the best album of the year.
But we just talked about Grammy nominations. Who gives a fuck?
But
Even
it's
the
also,
even the smart Johnson is like, we question the Grammy, so we don't care that was nominated. But
she questioned the Grammy because Nas didn't win it for It Was Written, and she didn't like it since then.
Now I got a question for Ingrid. Just type yes or no real quick for us, please, Ingrid. Like, when you get upset with Sean, do you just blast the takeover in the house, or
Yo, chill out, man.
All right, my bad.
Yo, what's your deal, man?
I was told to ask that. You say she know better. You sounding real Ike Turnerish right now, but we're gonna keep it moving. So I want to get it. Well, actually, I want to go to underrated. Because we didn't talk about underrated cats, and I think personally, one of the most underrated albums of the year belongs to Big Sean. I think Big Sean, he displayed so much growth, and he displayed something that he's always been displaying: his wide range ability to go from a popish sounding track that would be like for Baby or Lil Baby or Young Thug or something like that, to going to the street shit that should have been for like Rick Ross or Benny the Butcher or whatever the case may be. So, and then I think he personally was the shining star on Timeless. That's the song with Benny the Butcher and the song with Lil Wayne. I think he actually ran that track. That is his track, in my opinion. And that's a big shout. Another big shout to Hit Boy, because we'll talk about him, but we'll talk about him a little later. But so that's my underrated album, and my underrated artist of the year is going to be Big Sean.
I had the same thing. I had Benny the Butcher. I'm sorry, Benny, but I had Big Sean as my underrated artist and underrated album. When I shared that album with the guys, you were the only one that understood where I was coming from. Stacks really only know Rockefeller music, so he struggled with that one. He was like, "Who is Big Sean?" I'm like, "Who is Big Sean? What do you mean, who is Big Sean?" So when I realized, when he said that, I was like, okay, I can't speak hip hop to Stacks because he's limited there. So I do agree with you. I think Big Sean to me was underrated. I do want to go back, I want to double back real quick. I think that another, and I don't want to label it as disappointment, but I want to say overrated, was Eminem album that he just dropped. He labeled it as a deluxe album, but it's not really a deluxe album. It's it's an actual album, because on the deluxe version, it's not like he added 3 or 4 new songs. The whole album is new songs, right? And they're all garbage. Like, Eminem should not be rapping the drill music, in my opinion. and
Eminem
it was
shouldn't be
garbage
rapping at all, but
at
that's
all.
neither here nor there.
I think he's done. Stax is holding on as much as he can, but I think M is done, and I think this album shows you how disconnected he's from hip hop within itself. Because you go back and you listen to, again, Stone Cook Gods, Reasonable Drought. You go and you can see where Eminem probably trying to bite off of that, but he didn't do it right. You know what I'm saying? Or you can go back and listen to Lil Baby. You can listen to the Baby joint and like, okay, it fits them. That type of flow, that type of rhythm, that type of cadence, it fits them. It does not fix. It does not fit him, and it shows you without Dr. Dre orchestrating, and he's operating on his own with this new group that's trying to make him sound relevant and sound new. You can see where he's misguided. So I don't want to say disappointed because I think that we know what it is. But I
Facts.
do think that it was really a hard listen.
Facts, Ingrid. We are so glad that he missed the Grammy cutoff because
Absolutely.
he definitely would be nominated
He'll
and
be
he
nominated,
definitely would
but
be winning.
he'd be nominated for that trash. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I'm not going to acknowledge her anymore until she answers my question. What's the ether, the takeover play like? But anyway, no, I definitely agree. I just can't listen to him, man. He's trash. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck about his accolades, and I really feel for people who feel like that Eminem accolades doesn't come from the fact that he's a white dude. Like anyone knows me, know I'm not racist at all. So it's not even about that. But the truth is truth. He has white privilege, and that is why is as successful as he is. Because the consumer, they did its study, and it was facts. 80% of the consumer of music are white suburban
Yep.
kids. I'm talking hip hop music, are white suburban kids.
Yep.
So if I'm a white suburban kid and I'm listening to all these black dudes rap all the time, and then we get a halfway decent white rapper, what is going to happen? We're going to blow him up. The same deal with like Tiger Woods. All these years, we had a white guy hitting the ball and running the damn PGA, but now we got someone who looks like us. So now we're all of a sudden, every black dude is interested in golf, whether it be them watching it or whether them going out and swinging the clubs themselves. It's the same dynamic, man.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So who's your DJ? Who is your standout DJ for the year? Because Return of the DJ was prominent in 2020.
Um,
This is your bag. So who was your DJ of the year?
man, so I don't want to I'm a default to my favorite, of course, DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah.
He's been my guy since I started. Every trick I try to learn from comes from him. So definitely gonna give a big shout out to SA DJ Jazzy Jeff. But I'm gonna go a little bit more local, and the guy that I first seen rocking on Facebook years ago, and I think he was able to just turn up a little bit more, and he had a little bit more followers, and that's DJ Cleve, man. I'm gonna definitely say DJ Cleve,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say I'm not a fan of D Nice.
Oh.
But I'm not a fan for other reasons. The reasons I'm not a fan,
Oh.
I don't like preferential treatment. So for him to be able to broker a deal with IG and he could play all night long and there's no problem, and anybody else play for 10 minutes and is pulling the plug, I got an issue with that. Now that
Yeah.
doesn't hate on his DJ skills because obviously he's super nice.
Come on, man.
Um, but I also like during the pandemic, I'm gonna say Clue. I think Clue was actually, in his little bag when he was rocking with yeah, DJ Worldwide as well. He was pretty dope. I like his style. He's kind of like quirky. Like it's weird just to see because he's just sitting there in like a dark ass room and with some earbuds or whatever. So it's kind of quirky, but I definitely like him. But Clue actually made a comeback. I think Clue's really stepped up. And my regressor is going to be DJ Who Kid. I think DJ Who Kid has
You
really
talked about
regressed, and I'm coming for your job because that shit is horrible now. You're like on Funk Master Flex level. So
Oh,
No,
Whoa,
okay, my bad. He's not that bad. Funkmaster
whoa.
Flex is horrible.
He's he's not far from it. Yo, shout out to Elmore, Mark, older brother, man. He's the good one. He's not the wild one like Mark. Yo, shout out to Elmore for watching tonight. And I agree. Elmore knows hip hop. He's really big in the industry from what Mark shared with us. So when Elmore speak on hip hop, he's speaking from a position of being in the inside and knowing some things out there shaking in Philly. So shout out to Elmore for his comments as well.
Yeah, Elmore got my pass stamp, so I'm good in Philly now. It was shaky, Mark was like,
Elmore got the pass stamp, man. So you need to get in Philly, man. Forget Mark. They be like, yo, who is that? Who is Mark? Yo, but I got D Nice as my number one, man, because D Nice, his mixing and just being able to create a good vibe and had everybody rocking out. That was huge, man. I mean, D Nice drew in a lot of people, man. He's definitely the people's champ when it comes to that, because anytime you get the former president of the United States, Obama, inside your mentions, and you got, Michelle Obama inside your mentions, you're doing it big. And you got a situation where they're brokering a deal where you're not getting clipped. I mean, you're doing some big things. And it's just not it's not about his DJing skills. It's about what he's playing. It's about his sets. DJ Nice has had the most vast set out of all the DJs. He's been rocking for hours with a great set for everybody to vibe out. No matter who you are, where you from, what era of music you love, he's been rocking it for everybody. And he's been highly consistent. Scram Jones is another one that you and I talked about almost every Saturday, same time. Scram Jones was killing it, but he was killing it before the quarantine. But I think that Scram just kind of upped the ante a little bit more, this past year.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but I kind of hate him for that though, because I feel like Scram has an audience already, but I think he could actually reach out to the masses, because I don't care who you are. If you're listening to something and you know that, hey, and I'm gonna just keep it simple because everyone knows this, but if he plays the Isley Brothers and you know what I'm saying, it's rocking, but then he's able to mix in Biggie, like everyone could do that. There's not a DJ alive who can't do that. One, because it's the exact same beat, it's just slowed down by Puffy or whatever. But when you're listening to something, let's say, it's been a lot of shit that we've listened to, and I've been like, wait, this is a sample, and he is able to mix in that sample. I don't care what your level of hip hop knowledge is. The fact that you can find the sample, and it could be something as simple as a knock on the damn table. Yeah. He can find that sample, and he can teach you that, hey, this is the sample, and he's going to play it to where you understand it's the sample. So I wish he was able to jump on Facebook or IG and get the exposure that he rightfully deserves.
But Dre, even with that, like he did a Raekwon mix earlier this year, and he was playing some joints, man. And in the middle, he was shouting out RZA, and he was saying like he don't know how RZA was able to chop up one song and make like 3 or 4 records off of it. Like RZA was able to take one record and made 4 or 5 records off of that one sample, because he didn't have the money to get a lot of samples cleared. So that's that one record, that one song that he was able to get cleared. He actually used that one song and made about 4 or 5 different Wu-Tang songs off of that one sample. And again, I was like, yo, how was he able to pull that? And I'm talking about he was pulling fragments off of this song where the beat dropped, where the beat switched, where the beat was able to pick up a little bit, how RZA slowed it down, how he sped it up. It was just something that the way he was pulling it and creating the mix, I was like, yo, this is next level shit right here. So, but that, Scram Jones has earned my respect as a DJ, earned my respect for his ear, because I love to hear music where I can pull out where it came from, the original source of it. And he was able to pull out some stuff that I'm like, whoa, I know I heard it before, but I did not realize it came from that. And that to me, that was dope. So DJ Nice, Scram Jones, Ninth Wonder was another one. Ninth Wonder had some great sets. I'm not a huge Ninth Wonder fan like I used to be. I think Ninth did some weird stuff. You know, I'm not gonna get into that.
Whoa, no, let's get into it because I want to know what you're talking about.
Man, Ninth be on some funny shit, man. That's why little brother, you know, don't mess with him like that. But
Nah,
yeah,
you sound like you caking for somebody, but
nah, man,
that's neither here nor there.
Nah, he did some funny shit, man. Yo, he don't come to Queens, man. That's all I'm saying. But nah, I'm kidding.
Like I said, you caping for somebody. I already knew it.
Ninth was dope. And again, D-Night's my MVP.
What I didn't like about the DJ scene was artist DJ. So some of my favorite artists, you know, we have Bun B.
Yeah.
I did not like Bun B getting a controller, sitting in there and playing music. And and then I listen. Everybody know I love this dude. It's my favorite rapper of all time. He did a nice little transition, you know, back and forth or pump it up. But I don't want to see Redman doing that shit, man.
You know what I'm saying? Live. He was doing it.
And then another thing that I did not like about it, I guess I'm looking at it different. I could be looking at it wrong because I do it on the side and I do it for fun. Where these guys, you know, they do it for, you know, their main source of income. I didn't like the Cash App at the bottom and all that stuff, man. To me, that's just not cool. That's my personal opinion.
Right now, podcasts are doing it now. The Joe Budden podcast is doing the Cash App thing at the bottom now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm all right. You go ahead and talk it. I'm finna put my Cash App up.
Yeah, we're doing that. We're doing that 2021 for the guys.
No, I'm finna do it. I'm finna do it right now. I'm finna do mine.
Yeah. So I mean, put the Cash App up there. But that's what everybody's doing right now, man, because they're giving out. I mean, it's free content that they're sharing. So why not throw it out there, right?
You
want to donate?
I guess, but I don't know, man. To me, it just seems it screams corny to me. And I'm not saying these guys are corny, but to be doing that, it did scream corny to me.
Gotta get paid, homie. What was your surprise album or DJ of the year?
Surprise? I'm gonna go with
this dude did it for real.
So surprise, I'm gonna go DJ. And although it's crazy to that he was a surprise to me because I knew that he got his start from DJing. But Lil Jon, I don't know if anybody watched Lil Jon sets on Saturday nights, but his sets are amazing. I like the you know, the imagination that he was able to produce with the green screens. I still don't know how to do that shit. I had a homie trying to tell me, but he has the green screens and he has the videos playing, panning in and out to him as he's DJing. And then he just knows good music, in my opinion. He just knows pretty good music. And I would say the surprise DJ of the year for me would have been Lil Jon or Manny. Manny Fresh was pretty dope as well.
Okay. Who was your surprise artist of the year? Someone that dropped an album that you were like, okay, they came back hard with that one.
So I'm gonna say he's a surprise, although I knew he was still pretty dope. I always thought he was pretty dope. I just didn't like his angle. So I'm gonna go with Freddie Gibbs. I didn't like the fact that he always wanted to go at Jeezy. In my opinion, it's like, hey, the shit didn't work out, move the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? But he definitely dropped a solid album. To me, is not Grammy worthy, but he definitely, you know, I'm not mad that he got a Grammy nod for it though. But to me, it's just not nothing that I would say was Grammy worthy. But I definitely appreciated his work.
I thought that Busta Rhymes dropped a gem with Essential Level Event too. I thought that it was in the same vein for a Busta Rhymes album. It was a great follow-up to Essential Level Event 1. You can tell that the album was made, some of the songs on the album was made years ago, but it still felt like it fit the right moment of 2020. It didn't feel like it was out of place, you know, unlike, you know, Written Testimony, where you could tell that the album was displaced in time. With this album with Busta Rhymes, I thought that he really dropped a really good body of work. I felt that the energy that we want from Busta was there. I feel that Busta was sharp. Even from the beginning, from that first song is what got me. When you got Rakim coming in on the back half of the song and just, you didn't see that coming. And I thought that was a really good tone setter for the album. You had Minister Farrakhan on there on a skit. I mean, you got Caesar with him and MOP, the energy just around that. I just thought that album to me was a pleasant surprise. Especially from, you see artists like, Busta Rhymes and, Nas, Jay, our elders, the elder statesmen of hip hop, who's been around since the early 90s. And Busta Case been out since 80, 88, 89. You know what I mean? Still being able to release an album, 20, 30 years later and still put out good quality material. That is very rare, man. That's very rare. So I thought it was a really good thing to hear that album come out.
Yeah,
let's get Becca.
I'm not gonna say
so
I was.
Tell us her hip hop album of the year.
You say
what
now?
Let's get Becca on so she can tell us before we wrap it up what her hip hop album of the year. Her or Tasia?
All right. Both. Nah, I'm mad at Tasia. Tasia can't come on right now. But yeah, I'll definitely send everything to Becca. The Busta album was cool to me. I wasn't jumping up and down. Nas album was something that had to grow on me. It's definitely pretty dope. Oh, why we can't ask you? Now I'm finna send you and you're gonna jump on now. But it had to grow on me, and I mean now I'm cool with it. I love the joint with Big Sean and that other young boy. That's probably my favorite joint off of there. And then I like the what is it, Black Benzes, I think it is.
Blue Benz.
Yeah, Blue Benz. I like that shit. That shit is pretty dope. But yeah, it is what it is with Busta. Like I'm okay with it, but I'm not necessarily jumping for.
I mean, it's not your speed, so I get it. You know what I mean? I thought again. I'm not going into the. I done talk about King's Disease almost every other episode. You know what I mean? I'm still bumping that. Still listening to King's Disease. I still think that it's the best album of the year, for obvious reasons. I do feel, honestly, I do think that if you go back and you start listening to just some of the Griselda stuff, listen to Westside Gunn, you listen to Benny, and even if I start going a little bit deeper than that, man, taking it to just Hit Boy himself, you know what I mean? I think Hit Boy had a phenomenal year because for Hit Boy to produce Benny, Nas, and Big Sean, if you recall a couple of years ago when Kanye was dropping those albums every week, where he was producing everything every week. Remember, I think he did Cudi, Nas, Tiana Taylor, and someone else he did. And they weren't good. They weren't hitting because it was rushed. I think that Hit Boy was able to do what Kanye probably tried to do, if that makes sense.
No, I got you. I don't think there's a discussion about who the producer of the year is. Yeah. I think, and I wish the Grammy gave out some shit for that, because if the Grammys went anywhere other than Hit Boy, I think it would be solidified that they're definitely not for us or for the streets. So
yeah, absolutely. Who do you think the lyricist of the year?
So lyricist, I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Conway, man.
I was thinking the same thing, man.
I think I'm gonna go with Conway. So, I was about to bring on. She jumped off. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Conway. I think Conway. I think that some of the shit that he was saying was just ridiculous on that album. But we do have a special guest. First, we're gonna bring on Becca. And then hopefully Tasia jump back on. She was here and then she just left. Well, there she go. So we're gonna bring Becca on first, and then we'll bring Tasia on.
All right.
Hey guys.
What's happening?
Hey. What's going on? How you doing?
Yo,
We all
yo.
right.
What's up?
So tell us, what was your favorite album of the year? Your best, in your opinion, your best album of the year.
I'm gonna have to go with Busta.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go. I haven't listened to every album that came out, honestly, but I have to go with Busta. And the reason I say that is because it brought me back to Woo-Ha days. It
Right.
brought me right back to when he was crazy with his dreads and running and doing the Coming to
Right.
America. It brought me all the way back to that part. And I actually listened to it while I was working, and I was bumping like I was. But when I listened to it on a road trip that I went to, I went nuts. That Belle Biv DeVoe sample, that
Yeah.
song right there made me go bonkers.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, that is it. And then it just flowed. And I was actually watching one of his interviews at the Breakfast Club, and he mentioned that it was supposed to sound like a movie soundtrack.
Right.
And that's exactly how it sounded to me. Like as I was listening to the album, I saw like bombs in the sky and World War III happening and his album playing in the background. And as the song played, I saw different types of situation in life happening, all the way from the situation with him and Rhapsody happening in real life and all of that. It was just dope. It was just dope.
Right.
So that particular album made me feel like I was back in high school listening to him just running crazy all over the stage. That's what it felt like to me.
Right.
That's the reason why it brought me back to that time frame.
Right.
So it had that one, and I'm not a real rap person. Like I'm an R&B lover, but that album right there, me and my fiance could listen to and bump it from beginning to end without skipping a song.
Right. Right. Do you feel like it was a good follow up to Essential Level Event 1? And it just kind of took you back to like that nostalgia of,
It
you know,
did.
yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It brought me right back to it. Picked up, and that was the point, I guess. And
Right.
again, those of us who come from that era, we appreciate an album
Right.
like that. Like someone in the younger generations may not appreciate or understand why we love a Busta Rhymes so much. They
Right.
may not get it. But
Right.
for those of us from the 90s that listen to that type of music, it brought us right back to those same days.
Right. Right. Take you back to the vibe. Put on some Timbs, a hoodie. You know what I mean? Sweatsuit
Yeah,
weather.
when he was like, "Whoa,
Right.
I got
Right.
you all." That's
Right.
how I felt, because I was in a car like you couldn't tell me I wasn't a thug. I was in the car like just
Right.
I felt real rough and tough after
Yeah,
I was
but
listening to that album.
we not here for a New
Oh,
York
and
love affair.
Tasia
Though, so.
wouldn't know. Tasia, I don't know if you know who Busta Rhymes
All right,
is.
Dre.
Oh, really? Is that
But
what
he's
we're
a
gonna
rapper.
do?
He's a rapper.
Is that how we're gonna do this? Is that how we're gonna start this interaction today?
Hey,
Is that
Tay.
what we're gonna do? Hey.
He's a rapper, Tasia, just in case you didn't know.
Anyways, I know exactly who Busta Rhymes is, but I don't, like she said, she's R&B, but I'm full R&B. I'm only R&B. I'm not really into, as y'all call it, hip hop and rap and all that. I don't really do that. So my album of the year would have to go to Janae Aiko. I freaking loved her album.
That was a good one
I
too.
can play her album between her and Tiana Taylor. I can play those two albums back to back all the way through on repeat and do it again and keep doing it again and go through every range of emotions, especially with Tiana Taylor. Like,
Yes,
I'm not into the Caribbean type music, but I can listen to hers and be in there flowing and dancing and everything about Tiana Taylor just sends me into a world, like her vibe, everything about her is amazing to me. She is completely talented. I think she could be she's definitely underrated. Like,
absolutely.
completely underrated when it comes to artists overall, just period. She's so freaking talented. So yeah, but I'm R&B all day long. Like, I don't really get into the whole hip hop era. So I do know who Busta Rhymes is though. So thank you for trying me though.
So with
So, Becca, who's
2021
the R&B
coming,
of the year? Like Tasia saying it's Tiana Taylor for Tiana Taylor, right? And Janae Aiko. So who is yours?
I would agree with Tiana. I would agree with Tiana Taylor. Her album flows. For me, I come from an era where the album tells a story.
Right.
The album makes sense from beginning to end. And you don't skip a song. A good R&B album, you don't skip a song. And it really does bring you through all those emotions from when you're super duper love and everything that your mate does is perfect to the point
When
where
you
you're
hate
like,
them.
okay, I can't stand you and I'm about to cheat on you. And they're like,
Right.
wait, no, I don't want to cheat on you, but I love you. It
Right.
just brings you through. And Tiana Taylor is underrated. And she also feels
Very.
that way, which is why she's kind of iffy about the music business right now, because she really does have pure talent. And she's been succeeding without the big machine behind her, although she felt like she should have with good music. She really felt like she should have been pushed way better. But I think Kanye is just Team Kanye, and it just didn't work out for her. I think she'll be much better independent. But Tiana Taylor is she's not only an artist as far as singing, her visuals and the way that she can direct and produce other people's stuff is amazing. She really is a true talent that people, I don't think we've seen all of Tiana Taylor.
So really quick, I just want to piggyback off what you said about when you're signed to a label or signed to a person that pops and you just can't seem to pop. I think that there's a misconception of that, because Seven Streeter is the same damn way. She's signed to Chris Brown, and that girl can sing her behind off, and she can't pop. She can't pop to save her life. And I think that these artists are that try to turn into labels, they're not all that great at what they do when it comes to putting out the music or broadcasting what they need to do for their musicians. I mean, that's just
I personally feel that no artist should sign to a label where the owner of the label is also an artist.
Correct.
I don't think that that's a smart move, because everybody that worked with Diddy says the same thing.
Yep.
Diddy
You are so right.
is great as a producer, and when he puts out an album, it's only his album, and everybody that's worked with Diddy has fallen through the by the wayside, and some really talented people too. Day 26 was talented. To me, I liked the quirkiness and weirdness of Danity Kane. I liked Dawn. I liked Dirty Diddy Money or Dirty Money, the two chicks. They can really sing. Dawn herself is actually very, very talented. But if you are on a label where the owner or the CEO of that label is also an artist, just know that you're going to be forgotten. If that person decides to want to put an album out, they're not going to care about anybody else on that label. It's just strictly them.
Yeah.
Right. I do think that, my wife just mentioned Kanye, those albums he came out with, he had Tiana Taylor and everyone else, and they are flopping. To your point, it's hard for an artist of Kanye's magnitude to be able to
work with anybody.
Yeah, work with anyone, because he owned the stems. You can't go in the studio and say change this or change that, because he has total control. And just like Jay-Z, if you think about it, Jay-Z hasn't really done well for other artists. J. Cole should be globally bigger than what he really is. Under Rock Nation,
Cole is big. Kanye is big.
J. Cole should be Drake big.
Kanye is big.
I don't like
Rihanna is big.
You can't put that in the title. You can't get that to Jay.
She's
right.
Why does it not go to Jay? Oh my God.
You can't get that to Jay. You can't give Kanye to Jay.
I'm gonna disagree with y'all. I understand what you're saying about signing with artists, but I think there are certain artists that you should not sign to. So when I say
Kanye is one of them,
I think I'm not even gonna necessarily say Kanye is one of them. And the reason why I say that, because I don't think that he gives all the love that he should, but I think he gives what you gonna get out of it. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you look at somebody like 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz was popping. He went over there. He popped a little bit more. Kanye did well for 2 Chainz. But then you look at somebody like Pusha. I think Pusha should be big. He should be bigger. Right. But he's not going to pop because of the love that he's going to get from him.
So But can you say that 2 Chainz built his foundation before he got to Kanye? Because that's what I think.
He did.
I can't say yes or no. And the reason why I can't say yes or no is because I don't know what to really bring 2 Chainz in it, because I'm not gonna say I was a fan, but shit, DTP TD Boy, I was all right with. You know what I'm saying? Like I can listen to him. I know when he was snapping on the song or whatever the case may be. But then that goes back to y'all point. He was with an artist because he was signed under Luda. So it was just that, like I said, it's just some artists you shouldn't be signed to, and some is okay. I don't think Puffy
gives his artists care. He's always done that.
But none of his artists has popped. if that's what we're talking about. None of his artists has popped.
Right.
He had a short he had a short run with Chingy and a very short run with Shauna and an absolute zero run with I-20 and Titty Boy and all those guys. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends.
No.
I don't think Jay should be saying, hey, you shouldn't work with him. I don't feel the same way about Puffy. I think the only thing with Puffy is you need to make sure that contract is lined up to where you okay.
You get
know
your
what I'm saying?
money.
I think Day 26 and making the band and whatever that other group, the male group or whatever. Oh, that
The
is Day
band.
26.
The
That's
band.
Day 26.
The girl group. I think the girl group. I think they was
Family
all.
Kane.
They was just all in the unfamiliar territory because it was the TV show. So he had to try to show out. Because ain't no way in fucking hell Puffy to tell anybody, yo, if you really want this deal, you're going to walk to Brooklyn and get me a cheesecake from Junior's. Like, man, get the fuck out of here,
I
bro.
mean, but let's not forget, although we forget Puffy came from somewhere too. Puffy carried crates and for people. So Puffy does have a background where he worked for his fame. So he worked really hard for his name. So I get where he's coming from. But I also think that threshold of I worked for where I am, but I'm still going to treat other people horribly to work for where they are. I think that's a thin line because
it's a difference. Yeah, it's a difference between
cheesecake is different
than carrying some crates. You know what I'm saying?
Crates. But I think
being
a
a
lot of that is
fucking
TV
roadie.
too. We talk about Diddy. Diddy's
That's
flashy.
Diddy being extra.
He's shiny suit man.
Right. That's him being extra for the cameras. That's what he do.
Worth walking for though. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Junior's cheesecake definitely is worth walking for. Maybe not from the city, but at least somewhere else.
The cheesecake, I would go. I can eat there. I love to eat there, but the cheesecake is better than Cheesecake Factory, which is not hard.
That great, but the cheesecake is
amazing. You know what? Everything you say is so questionable. Oh my goodness.
Nah, it's all right. It's better than Cheesecake Factory.
And everything you say is questionable. We don't agree on anything.
Now you see what I deal with.
Oh,
you see what I deal with.
She getting you, Dre.
Hey, I ain't gonna tell everybody how Tasia ran me off the road Friday. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
She was probably listening to the Busta Rhymes album.
Right?
It was
she probably was listening to Tory Lanez.
I love me some Tory.
Tory Lanez, yeah. Get that dude out of here, that weirdo out of here, man.
And he ain't shoot Meg, and Meg is over like you said.
So last question for everybody. What are you looking forward to in 2021? Whether it's music, personal, or professional, what is it that you're looking? We're gonna start with you first, Tasia.
Oh, I knew you was gonna do that. I'm gonna just go with more traveling. I traveled my behind off during the pandemic. I did not care. As my friend said, I flew through the pandemic, and I'm gonna continue to do that. So 2021 is gonna be filled with many more trips, hopefully more international than within the United States. That's all I want to do is catch flights.
What you got, Becca?
Hopefully 2021 will bring my wedding.
Yeah.
Congrats again. Yo,
so that's the main thing I'm looking for in 2021 is my wedding.
Yo, Becky, did you connect the Mark about the stripping thing?
No, I did not.
Okay. Yo, Mark got short arms, man. So when he come out that cake, y'all might have to help him get it off the top.
That is bad. That is bad.
Short arms and better pull the cake off the top.
That is bad. Don't do Mark like that. He's still recovering from his
all year.
No,
Mark
she ain't getting flued out no damn well.
Well, I mean, at this point, trying to plan a wedding during a pandemic is very interesting. You really have to consider everything: space, where it's going to be, the people, the amount of people. Some places, especially now since COVID is starting to come back and people are going, like everything is going backwards. People are starting to shut down again or go back to phase one. Who's to say, by midsummer or early fall, how everything will be. Maybe it'll be where things can open up again and I can invite people, or it just may be we eloping and we doing a destination wedding and we're gonna do the wedding and honeymoon all in the same place. Because honestly, at this point,
in May.
It's like I can't invite everybody that I want to be there. I'm definitely not inviting just anybody because I don't want fake love at my wedding.
Right.
I'm not paying for you. I'm not paying for that.
Can I give you a piece of advice?
Yes.
Just one piece of advice. Whatever you do, don't invite Stacks. But So,
You are not gonna do my cousin like that.
Yo,
Sean, what
He's
you
definitely coming.
what you
are not
looking
gonna
forward
do
in
my cousin like
2021?
that.
Jay's dirty, man.
I'm telling him you said that. He's probably watching.
Don't do that. Jay's dirty. I'm looking forward to separating from the guys and going solo. And doing my own thing. And I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Whoa.
He low key meant that.
I'm kidding.
No, he did. He
Just a
did.
little bit, a small
He did.
percentage.
He did.
He meant that.
Nah,
He
I'm
definitely did.
kidding. No, we got like a lot of stuff that Dre and I are cooking, man, under the radar that a lot of people don't know. Like, I don't think people realize like how this whole thing came about. We're going to get into more about it on Wednesday night. But I mean, there's a lot of shit that Dre and I did behind the scenes for almost a year before this even came to fruition. It's been some, disagree. You guys know Dre is very difficult to work with. He's difficult to talk to.
He's difficult.
Dre, I'm so sorry.
He's difficult in general.
Do you believe that, Rebecca?
He's different, So
Rebecca.
Tasia, no. This talking to this guy for 5 minutes, you like, yo, I need to end this conversation because this shit is not going anywhere.
Wow.
Whoa.
Right.
Ain't no love in the city.
He's a real loser type guy, like Nas total boy on belly on the bench, like a real loser type guy. But
wow.
I won't go that far. Hold on now. I ain't gonna go that far.
Tasia,
Thank you.
You deal with him because you kind of have to, because you feel bad for him. And we know that. I feel bad for him. I try to cut Dre off several months now, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh my God, y'all want to talk about that after?
Yeah, my bad. I forgot we're live. But real talk, Becca, real talk.
He over here confessing like Mark the other night.
Stacks did text us one day and was like, "Yo, I'm really glad you guys brought us on. I really needed this for my mental health." I'm like, yo, who is this guy? So, but anyhow, we got a lot of stuff we're working on behind the scenes. Like, there's a lot that we're working on. I just want to salute to you all. I want to salute to Becca, Tasia, even down to over to our girl Tina B.
And
definitely salute to my Wiz, man, for even just telling me to rock with it as well.
I love the fact, just sidebar, I love the fact that you say my Wiz. I think that that's so cute.
Yeah, it's my wisdom, man. It's my wisdom, man. You know what I mean?
I love the fact that you say that.
Dre be hating knowing that, man, because he don't know what that. Dre never experienced love before, so he don't know how that feels. He has an icebox in his heart. Like, that's Dre ringtone is icebox. Like, I don't know why he still have a ringtone. When I call Dre, I have icebox playing.
Icebox
this is exactly why I don't like bringing guests on, because you always try to show out, man.
My bad.
Hate is confused love, Dre. Don't worry about it.
Love is love, Dre. But for real though, we do have a lot of stuff that we're working on. I'm just excited for the things we have under the radar. Becca knows some of those things that we talked about before. We got a lot of things that we got like just right now baking in the oven that we're trying to put together, and we're looking forward to that. We feel that the brand can grow bigger than just the guys. And there's a lot of things that we want to really put together for 2021. It's gonna be a lot of hard work, a lot of thinking through things and making sure that we're all on the same page and we're all aligned. But I pick with Dre a lot. But Dre is a brilliant guy. I feel comfortable with us collaborating on how we're going to push things moving forward for 2021. So I'm looking forward to that.
I feel like you can use another word other than brilliant.
Yeah, loosely.
I'm looking forward to what I'm looking forward to in 2021 is new friendships. I think my old friendships have ran their course, so it's might be time to move on. I'm looking forward to somebody looking at my Cash App and saying, "Hey, we're gonna go ahead and bless Dre right now with this Cash App."
In Jesus' name.
Huh?
Did you check it?
No, I haven't checked it. I feel like, so when you say that, I feel like you probably cashed out me like 50 cents or some shit, because that's what asshole people do. And so that is my lovable asshole friend. But I'm just looking forward to living life, man. 2020 has not been terrible to me. I'm not one of the people who's out here hating on 2020. It had a couple bumps in the road, but like I said, the biggest bump, you know what I'm saying? My mom, she had her last chemo session today, so that's always great.
That's a
Um,
blessing.
Absolutely.
you know,
Blessings.
who I thought was my best friend tried to kill me on Christmas night, but I'm here. I'm still in the flesh. I'm alive.
But
So
God,
He is
yes,
lying. I wasn't even
God is
far.
God is good.
all the
So
time.
and all the time.
But if you don't mind me asking, what
Huh?
happened? What happened?
Oh, nothing.
You know, I didn't do nothing.
She just
Oh,
ran me
he's
down.
talking about you?
Yes, did nothing happen to me. I got rear-ended. I was at home. He called me. He was talking about, look what happened to my car. And I said, I'm on my way. I pulled up.
Oh,
Trying
No,
to survive cold.
no,
I even supported the habit that I knew nothing about. I did all the right things.
that's a friend.
Wow.
nah, but
That's
for real, Tasia is a great friend. I just be playing. I just be talking shit. That's my dog. I kind of like Sean. I really don't like Sean. So when I say fuck Sean, I really do be meaning fuck Sean. But
Oh,
and the rest of the guys, I hate them probably more than I hate Sean. So it is what it is, man. I'm just here to have fun. I hope
Hey,
everyone tunes in on 2021 with us.
men show each other love way different than we do as females.
They
They be like,
really
yo,
do.
F you,
They
nigga.
really do.
They be like,
but
nah,
Dre
that's my
really
dog.
mean that though. We took up for Dre when Dre, it was another podcast that shitted on Dre earlier this year.
Oh, I heard about
See?
that podcast.
These are my
that shit was on Dre.
confessions.
You know
I
what I mean?
heard about that podcast.
I mean, they went in on Dre. You had some dudes in there going in on Dre, telling, it was weird. It was just some weird stuff. And
What you do, Dre?
Heard. Oh,
That man, we ain't gonna talk about that,
no.
please.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we
in the
definitely
group
gonna keep.
chat.
We're not gonna give them no shine.
Where is Merv
Yo.
when you need him?
We're not gonna get that no shine.
without
My buddy
hesitation, I
Merv.
jumped in. I didn't ask no questions. I just went in.
No questions. Had I
No
known, I would have
questions.
done the same thing. Right?
Mike,
If
say less.
wrong is wrong to be, I would have still jumped in.
You know what I mean?
Okay, never mind. Anyway, so yeah, hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we appreciate you too for joining us. Can't wait to get back next year. I hope everyone is safe this holiday weekend.
Yes.
Listen, I lost a friend last week to a drunk driver. If you're gonna drink, please don't drive. If you're gonna drive,
I'm sorry
please
to
don't
hear
drink.
that.
Nah, it's cool. But just be considerate. Her daughter's birthday was today, and she's not around to celebrate with her daughter because someone wanted to be stupid. So just have some sense and chill out, man. And plus, you shouldn't even be out anyway because it's
A pandemic.
it's a pandemic going on.
It's
I
a
know
whole
somebody.
pandemic outside.
Yeah, it's somebody here who doesn't care about that, but that's okay. I'm gonna teach her. I'm gonna get her to care about it.
Wow.
only because I love her. If I didn't love her, I'd just be like, go about your business. But
Wow.
so with that, hey, salute to everybody, man, and we'll see y'all next time.
Be back on Wednesday.
Good night.
Wednesday, the Guys Podcast Year in Review. We wrapping everything.